Hello booktube, my name is Bethany and it has been such a long time since I have made a video on my channel, and I wanted to kind of share a little bit of what's been going on in my life and why I haven't had quite as much time. One of my favorite parts of booktube last year, which was my first year on booktube, was middle grade March, and so I am so excited to participate again and kind of get a little bit back into booktube. So I'm going to be sharing my middle grade March TBR and then just like maybe one or two other books that I'd like to read in March that are not middle grade. But first I wanted to kind of share a life update and kind of let you know what I've been doing since September, which was the last time I posted. So if you're new here and or you don't care about what's going on in my life other than books, then you can skip ahead to the TBR and I'll share with you all of those middle grade books that I plan on reading. But if you would like to know just kind of where I've been, what's been going on, I will go ahead and share that with you now. The number one thing that has kind of been taking most of my time and made me step back from booktube is that I am homeschooling this year. So I'm homeschooling our youngest son. He is 7 in second grade, and it has been going really great. I know, like, with all things parenting, obviously sometimes it's challenging and hard and you're questioning like if you're doing the right thing or making the right decisions, but I would say overall, especially now that we're into the second semester, I think it's just going really great. I'm so happy that we decided to do that, that God led us to do that. And so anyway, that has been taking a lot of my time though. Sometimes I feel like I would like to share a little bit of what we're doing. So now that we're in the second semester, we've kind of started some curriculum. I didn't really want to make big commitments to curriculum. The first semester, I wanted to kind of try some different things, use some different resources, and kind of see what was going to be best for him. I feel like we're really in that groove now, which has made planning and all of that a little easier and not as time consuming. So that's great. I am a little bit hesitant on how much to share about like my kids and family life on the internet, although I will say that I'm so grateful for the homeschool like community on YouTube and just people willing to share that, because it's so great to have all of those resources to get ideas and like learn about how different people teach their kids at home. So I'm just really appreciative of that, and I might at some point do a video on here about curriculum that we're using or something like that. I don't really know. This isn't a homeschool channel. I don't really want a homeschool channel, so but it might be something that I share if anyone's interested in that. In the fall, we also, my husband and I, coached his flag football team, my son, and it was so much fun. We had a great group of boys, and I just was really surprised at how much I enjoyed that. It was just such a blessing in my life to be able to coach them. So yeah, that was something that we were doing in the fall. We're now in baseball season, so we still have sports going on, but we are not coaches. So that is freeing up a little bit of my time as well. Yeah, that's kind of what's been going on in my life and why I decided to just take a break from booktube. I really wasn't even watching booktube, but so like I said, I got kind of excited about middle grade March, and I wanted to check in on some of like my favorite booktubers, and I want to be able to post videos. I just don't know how consistent I will be able to do that, but it's fun for me and I like this community and I like to check in on people, and so I'm gonna give it a shot and just see kind of where it goes, how it goes. I don't know what to tell you as far as what to expect from posting for me. There's a couple of things I want to do. I want to do a video of my favorite books, like probably top 10 from 2023. I know I'm gonna be super late to that, but I want to share it. I have them kind of compiled on Goodreads, and I just would like to share those with everyone because obviously I really enjoyed them. Another thing that I'd like to do that's a little more daunting is go through all of my bookshelves and kind of reorganize my books and unhaul quite a few, which that definitely sounds like it would need to be 2 separate videos if I'm going to video the unhaul. But I definitely want to organize my bookshelves and kind of get like the books that I really want to read together in one place, to kind of help me build my TBRs or just have a place to go to when I'm ready to choose my next book. So yeah, those are some things that I would like to do for videos. So you might be seeing those soon. Okay, so I'm really excited to share with you the books that I want to read in March. I loved middle grade March last year. It was so fun for me. I think it was almost like a realization that I can just read middle grade for fun, to myself, like not to my kids, which obviously I still want to read middle grade to my kids, but sometimes that's like a slower process. So being able to dedicate March to reading middle grade books just for my enjoyment is just really great. So I do have a stack of middle grade books to talk about. I have quite a few. I won't be reading all of these, but I wanted to have some choices. So I will go ahead and get started with those. So the first prompt is a 1-word title, which I had quite a few that I want to read. So the first one was actually on my middle grade March TBR last year, and I have started it as a read aloud multiple times, and we never actually get through it, and that is Sweep. So I know so many people love this book. This is a book that's like historical fiction, fantasy. I guess you would call it fantasy because there's like a coal golem in it, but it's about a girl named Nan. She's a chimney sweep. It seems so good, but it is pretty thick. My son is 7, and I think sometimes the beginning just isn't really pulling him in like some other books do. So I'm either going to maybe try to find it on audio. I can't remember if I've had it on audio before, but see if it's available through Libby or something like that, and maybe try that with him, or just read it by myself, or just try again, because you know that's what we do. Or maybe read it like at a different time of day, because I think I've only tried it as like a bedtime read aloud. And so anyway, I'm gonna probably try this again with him, but we'll see how that goes. So the other ones that I found on my shelf that were 1-word titles is this one called Birdie, and this is a library. I got it at a library sale, so I haven't taken the shininess off. But this, I don't remember much about it, although I think that it's maybe set around 9/11, I think, or after. I'm pretty sure this girl's dad he was a firefighter and died in 9/11, I think. I know that her dad was a firefighter and died in the line of duty. And when I read like the inside just before this video, it didn't actually say anything about 9/11, but something in my brain is telling me that that's when it was. So I can't say that for sure, but it is in verse. I might just try it out and see if I like it, because I don't think it'll take very long. Okay, the last one is another one that was kind of popular on BookTube maybe last year, or I don't know. I've definitely seen it. It is Alone. This is also a book in verse, and I was really excited about it because it's kind of a story that feels like not really dystopian, but maybe, or like post-apocalyptic kind of, because this girl is like, so I'm not a huge fan of this, but it's something that kids do. She like lies to her parents about where she's going and is trying to like meet up with her friends at her grandparents' cabin, and her friends don't show up, I think, and then when she wakes up the next day, like everyone in the town is gone. So anyway, it is also in verse, and my daughter did start reading this and didn't get that into it, and then I've heard some other people say that there's not much to the plot of like, or information about like what happened to all these people, I think, which that would be pretty frustrating. So I'm not as tempted to pick this one up, but it does have one word. When I bought it, I was excited about it, and so I might give it a shot. We'll see. If not, I should probably unhaul it. The next prompt is a debut, which I completely forgot about this prompt until right before the video, and I grabbed two off of my shelves that I am interested in that are debuts that I didn't really know. So the first one is the Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. This is super popular. This could also probably count as one that I feel like I've missed out on, so good sweep, because I know this is really popular. I did start it once again as a read aloud. We do that a lot, so that's just kind of what we do. Like, I kind of, a lot of times, especially if it's like bedtime read aloud, I let him decide. So we'll like stop stuff because we are interested in something new, and he's just kind of at that age that not everything holds his attention. So I might read this on my own. Just realized I haven't been saying the authors' names. So sorry, I'm a little rusty, even though I feel like I was never really like great about all the details on BookTube, but I'll try. I'm gonna work on it. So the other debut, which I didn't know, except for I picked it up and saw it was right at the top, is The Prophet Calls by Melanie Sumrow. And I bought this because I'm pretty sure, I think I saw Krista with Books and Jams reading this when she was reading like Amanda from On the Middle Shelf. So I think that's how it was brought to my attention. It is about a girl who lives in a polygamous community that's very isolated and sounds very interesting. I don't want to read this one aloud because obviously I don't really know what that is all going to involve, and don't think that he is ready for that. So this one is definitely one that if I read, it'll be on my own. So the next prompt is an immigration or refugee, which I don't know. This one's a little bit harder because like I don't know. There might be some on my shelves. I have been doing a lot better this year in 2024 at not buying a ton of books. I've been really utilizing our library, and I'm so grateful for libraries, and so I'm just trying. I'm not like completely not buying books, but I bought a lot of books in 2023. You know, it's my first year on BookTube. I'm sure any of you who are here, whether you make videos or just watch videos, know that it can lead to a lot of book buying. So I have really filled my shelves, and I'm just trying to not buy as many unless it's something that I want for like school, for homeschooling, or just can't find it or whatever. So I make exceptions. It's not like a hard rule on no buying books. Obviously that would be so sad. But I am trying to use the library. So all of these books for my TBR are either library books or books that were already on my shelves. So that was a long explanation for how I chose a refugee or immigration story. So I know Krista said that Wishtree is a story about, I think, immigration, and I didn't realize that. I also got at a library sale last year, and I like Katherine Applegate. She wrote the One and Only Ivan series. I haven't read all of those, but I have read the One and Only Ivan a couple of times to my kids. Really enjoyed that. And this is a nice short little book, but I guess the book is about the tree, like from the tree's perspective, and some people move in the neighborhood of the tree, I think, or next door, or like the yard of the tree, who are immigrants, I believe. So this is a great one. I actually was thinking about putting this on my list for a one-word title, but then Krista said that, and so I thought, okay, I'll save it for that prompt. Okay, so the next prompt is an animal on the cover. So Wishtree has an animal on the cover, so that would count. So does Alone, and I think Birdie also has an animal, a cat. And then the golem is on sweep, so I mean, I don't know if that counts as an animal. I think creatures count, but anyway, I do have separate ones for that one as well, but there's so many books with animals on the cover, so that was a nice, easy prompt. So this is the first one. This has a fox on the cover. It's This Seat's Saved by Heather Holleman, and this came out last year. I pre-ordered it just because it sounded so good. It's such a cute cover. This author is a Christian and wrote the book called Seated with Christ, Living Freely in a Culture of Comparison. And so this is her like fiction middle grade book that I'm hoping is going to have some of that faith content in it. So I'm really excited to try this one out, and I was excited I could fit it into middle grade March this year. The other one is also one that's like high on my TBR because I did buy it for homeschool. It's so hard for me, like when I say I buy things for homeschool, because like I've always read to my kids, so it's not really always for homeschool. It's just that, you know, whatever. And I think this was like part of a book list for like a study on courage, I think. That's why I bought this. And so it's The Sign of the Beaver by Elizabeth George Speare. And this has, I guess, a beaver that looks like a bear. I don't know. Anyway, has an animal on the cover, very short, and this is like on my list this year to read to my son. So I'm not really sure how, like, when I'm going to work that into our day. So we'll see, but I might just read it all for middle grade March to kind of preview it. Okay, so the next one is a book that you feel like you missed out on. So I only have one book for this, not that there's only one that I feel like I've missed out on, but this is the first book that came to my mind. So I checked it out from the library because I've been wanting to read it for a really long time and I don't know why I haven't. So it is A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus, and I'm just really excited to finally read this one. I hope I get to this one out of any of them because I feel like I've missed out. I feel like everyone loves it and I really want to read it. So I'm excited for that one. It is a historical fiction, World War II. I believe that these kids are in England and sent to the countryside during the war, so I'm excited to find out more about that. I did also find at the library the group read for the month, and that is The Mona Lisa Vanishes. This is a nonfiction, this is a nonfiction, and it sounds really good. I love narrative nonfiction, which middle grade is just naturally kind of that way, usually, should be, to be interesting to children. And so I'm really excited to read this one with the group for middle grade March. So I'm done with middle grade, but I am planning, I did pick up 2 books, adult books from the library that were both influenced by Keisha at A Book Like You. So the first one is The Letter Tree. I think she just read this and talked about on her channel, and it sounded really good. I don't know if I'll have time to read it this month, but I went ahead and picked it up at the library just in case. So this is a historical romance, I think. I don't really remember anything else about it, but she liked it, and so I thought I will pick that up. And then the other one is a nonfiction, Love Walked Among Us, Learning to Love Like Jesus. And I chose this one from the library also because Keisha has a Christian book club called Revive, and it's every other month, and they go back and forth between fiction and nonfiction. And I think this is maybe her 3rd book for that book club. And I really wanted to read the other 2, but I didn't. I actually, for the second one, didn't really even know about it because I wasn't on BookTube. But I really would like to participate in that book club. I'm so excited that she's doing that. And so I picked this up from the library, so I should be reading this one in March as well. Okay, so that is my pile of possibilities for the month of March. Yeah, let me know what you think about these books, what you recommend, because like I said, I'm not going to be able to read them all, so I'm going to have to pick and choose some. And I am going to sit down and watch these videos and see if they're any good and how much editing I'm going to have to do, because it was a little nerve-wracking starting up a video after it's been so long since I've made one. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I remember what to do. And yeah, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for being here and watching this. Even though, you know, it's been a really long time. I appreciate you hanging in there with me, and have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.